Alright, so I'm going to give you guys the key to a culinary masterpiece. So it all starts with this box. And don't try to make the flour by itself because it's so hard and you'll probably end up like messing it up somehow. So I just use this Pillsbury box. I found Pillsbury to be better than like Duncan Hines or anything like that. So this is the first key. And so on top of that, you need the ingredients that mix with that flour. So you got your obvious ones like milk and oil. But then I got tofu up here because I use that as an egg replacer. So what I do is I take a little bit of that tofu and I blend it up with a little bit of milk and it gets that same consistency as eggs. So then I got all my ingredients, I'm going to mix it all together and I get this nice cake-like consistency. I put it into a grease pan, 350-degree oven, and it's in there for a good maybe 45 minutes. And then I use a toothpick. I use this toothpick to like prick it in the center and pull it right out. And now you have to examine the toothpick. And if there's cake bits on the toothpick, that means it's not done. So you stick the cake back inside the oven and you wait, maybe 5 more minutes. And you do it again until you put the toothpick in and you don't get any cake bits. Then comes the fun part, the frosting. And so you frost it the way you like it, maybe cream cheese frosting, buttercream, vanilla, whatever. But then the problem is many cakes end here. But to get a masterpiece, there's so much more. The cake's adventure is barely starting with the frosting. There's many different things you can add, many different things you can do to the cake to make it so much better. And that's why I say that the cake's adventure merely starts with the frosting. So if we look at a few toppings, so you got candy, icing writing, or shaping, whipped cream, powdered sugar, chocolate, and then the materialistic designs are like fire. I've actually seen a cake with a fire coming out of it, or fireworks even. And so there's so many things you can do. Then you get something that looks like this. This is like the pinnacle of cakes. And look at all those colors, the size, and then the one next to it, that's a life-size car, right? All made out of cake and frosting. And so the best guy that does this is this guy named Buddy Velastro. He owns his own bakery in New Jersey, and he's really good at what he does because he understands one concept of baking, and that is that there's no such thing as too much. There's no such thing as putting too much frosting, too many colors, too many decorations. He doesn't believe in this concept of too much. That's why he's able to make such a big car cake, if you will. So this same concept applies to our satsang. When we say there's no such thing as too much bhakti, or gnan, or dharma, vairagya, and seva, or too much bhakti, or too much vishwas in Maharaj. And this is true because our satsang isn't gauged on a percentage scale, right? You can't be 100% satsangid because satsang is infinite. You're always going to have room to grow and progress. And so since we're always going to have room, we can always do more and more and more. There's never a cap. And so Nilkan Verni gives us this great example when he's traveling the forest and he meets Sevakram. And Sevakram, although taking the service of Nilkan Verni, didn't treat him like many of us would. He treated him ungratefully, right? But still, Nilkan Verni persevered and understood the importance of that seva and continued offering him that seva for a while longer. And so he taught this same importance of seva to all of his devotees, including one Dubli Bhatt. And now Dubli Bhatt, he was very poor, but still, while being poor, he was willing to give everything he had to Maharaj and to the construction of the mandir, and the biggest example is Dubli Bhatt gave every single penny he owned from his turban, or from his hat, to Maharaj, right, for the construction of the mandir. And so he's not the only one. We look at examples of like Dada Khacher, right? So Dada Khacher gave up his entire life, his darbar, and even when Maharaj asked him to, he gave up all of his land and wealth to his two sisters, Juba and Laduba. And now, Juba and Laduba were also great devotees, and they were, without them, the women's side of satsang wouldn't be where it is today because of all their efforts they put. And so now these are all, back in the day examples, but today we have even a better example through Brahmswai Maharaj, right? Every single moment of his life is always in the service of Thakurji. He always puts Maharaj first, no matter what it is, if it's awards accepting or anything, he's always putting Maharaj first. And that's because he understands this concept of there's no such thing as too much. There's no such thing as too much seva or anything. And that's what Buddy Velastro believes in. And so if we walk away from here today, we should understand that there's no such thing as too much satsang. Tree, so I'm going to go on and eat it.